looking at a short that popped up on my YouTube of Robert Patrick, the actor, brother of Richard Patrick of Filter. I like Filter. Robert played the was it the T-1000, the melty guy? He's done a lot of other stuff. But anyway, I see a little short come up on my timeline. It's like it's Robert, and he says putting on an ice vest, and I'm like, Jesus. What do you mean? Is he like going, like, is he embedded with ice? Why would he get involved in that? I'm like, oh shit, I hope it's not a protest thing. Is it that might be even worse, you know? Why would a guy like that get involved in this kind of stuff? No, he's talking about, it's a literal ice vest. Harley Davidson used to make them. What you do is you take the vest and you dip it in water and freeze it, and it keeps you cold. It keeps you cold while you ride for up to 3 hours. I was like, no, son of a bitch, wow, that's kind of cool. I guess Harley Davidson doesn't make them anymore, but he bought a lot of them so he could sell you one at a black market price. So if you want one, hit him up. I got this every day. My friend Cheeto, who you may have seen here on the channel, I run into her sometimes in the street. She sends me these, and by Cheeto, not Cheeto like the one you eat. Her name is spelled C-H-I-D-O. She's from Zimbabwe. Great girl. Helped me out a couple times. Probably one of the only physical friends I still have on the island. So many people got moved away during COVID. Like groups of people I used to hang around with just fucking gone. And but they were sure to replace them. But yeah, she sends me every day a message like this, and the thing that stuck out to me, that jumped out to me, was this psalm. I looked at it, I'm like, oh wow, that would be a great spell, you know, heart cleaning, because psalms are spells. Proverbs are how to use them. Now, I haven't really figured out the corresponding proverb that goes along with each psalm. Who's that guy? I don't know if I even want to bring him into. He's a very controversial type of figure, but there's people that can show you how to do that. But I found this one site, right, that explains it, how it works, because sometimes I mention this about psalms being spells and proverbs being how to use them, and I don't really give any resource, but I found this great resource site here which talks about how to do that, or the origins of that. And yeah, people, I mean, even now when you talk about the Bible and magic, it gets people a little bit, you know, especially Christians, angry. But Christian esotericism has been around since Christianity. And esotericism, you know, well, esotericism was around much longer, but you know what I'm saying. I'm going to put a link to it in the comment, and I'm really going to do it. I'm not making a joke. Like sometimes, it wasn't supposed to be a joke, but what happens is over time, I said I'm going to put things in the comments, I never do. Haha, it's become a joke, but I want to put things in the comments, and you got to trust me on this, it's going to be in the fucking comments. If this parasocial relationship is going to work out, you need to trust me. When I first started the channel, it was pretty much all about that stuff, magic, and the idea of marrying it with the divine power that we have, parallels between both of them. And I was just putting a lot of things together. Magic was always powered by our divine energy, but I don't think that was really ever understood, even to the magicians at the time. I'm not saying I discovered it. It was other people have discovered it. Anything good, right, interesting you hear here, it's never from my brain. It's always something I took from someone else. Or sometimes multiple someone else's, and pieced them together over the years. You know, not deliberately ripping anyone off, but, you know, you go through life, you pick up little things. You know, especially when it comes to the occult, esotericism, you'll learn little things over the years. And then if they work out for you, you just tend to pass them along. But every once in a while I'll hit upon a concept or I'll make a discovery, and trust me, I'm certain to tell you about it. Guys, I think I figured something out, you know what I mean? I should do that in the bathroom all the time in my house. When I was first making videos, I was still getting a lot of downloads, from source, or whatever we call it, discoveries. It wasn't what I was doing really at the time. It still happens now, just not as often, is that you get downloads, kind of. That's what me and Craig call them. Well, you're not getting them usually from out there. You get them from in here, inside, because you already have the information. All the answers and the questions themselves are written on your DNA by the hand of God. So quiet reflection will bring these things up into your transit, where you'll float to the top of your thoughts. You'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I remember this. It's all remembering. It's not about learning. You're not learning anything new. You're remembering stuff you already knew. When you first get here, in my opinion, they whack you with the forget juice, which is kind of the spiritual version of the scolopamine that they gave me in the GATE program. If anybody was a gator, that pink drink, that's the thing that was supposed to make you forget about the GATE program. Right, dangerous individual over here. I'm gonna go over here. Yeah, so it's kind of the spiritual version of that. Hold on, it's not relaxing for a second. So what happens is when you come into this area, you get a big dose of that. This area, this realm, this world, when you're born, whatever. You get a big dose of that forget juice shit. And I believe it's the same thing you get at night. When you sleep, you get another dose of it, like a mini dose. That's why when you wake up, you're like, yeah, I had this dream about this and that. And the more you think about the dream, you forget parts of it. You can no longer remember it, it slips away. Because you got a little mini dose of that stuff. You know, I'm gonna turn this way. Here we go. But yeah, I think that's what happens, and that's why you can't recall a lot of what you are. Because if you did know where you came from, if you did remember everything, this wouldn't be a test of any kind. Okay, now he's talking on the side. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do over here. There's a meter. There's a meter that goes off. The longer you stand in one place with someone like that, eventually you're gonna have to have an interaction. You're kind of like an ambush. Yeah, stay over here. Yeah, I used to do a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it's really all I used to talk about. And then things like social issues came up because, I mean, I do look at the spiritual war. And then when my area got shipped thousands of guys like that, when they all came into the area, and you know, it must still sound crazy to people when I say it, like when I always say like we didn't have you know, black people here. They must be like, what are you talking about? We just didn't have them. You know, we had one guy, we had Charles, who lives a couple streets down. He's a raker. He rakes his front yard all the time. Cool guy. We had a couple homeless people. One of them died. One of them I still see all the time. I say hi to him when I walk by him. Older guy, big gray beard, black guy. You might have seen me just say hi to him, talk to him a little bit. He doesn't talk much. He's quiet. He's one of the homeless people that doesn't bother people. Like I always say, like there's homeless people and there's street mutants. But that's an oversimplification, because some of the homeless guys out here, they're not trying to get into housing, they're just dropping out. They don't bother anybody. You know, they're cool. I said hi to a couple this morning that I know. So they're not street mutants. They're not the homeless that, there's a big percentage of homeless are just regular people who don't want to be on the street, who got fucked out of the expenses of the world, as the price of everything goes up, that's your group that's growing the most. That's what you're seeing the most of. It just gets worse every day. Yeah, I had to, I couldn't relax back there, so I was losing track of what I was seeing. Yeah, there's a lot of them over out here. There's a lot of guys like that. Like, it's always kind of the same. They're almost always naked, like very small amount of clothing, usually just shorts, no shoes, no top, just talking to himself with the occasional like loud word, like I thought he was crossing the street. And then when I saw the light change over his side twice and he stayed there, I'm like, oh, he's just hanging out the corner. Something about black people with corners. It's like they're driven to hang out in the corners. There's a lot of guys like that, during the day. You see them just like the scary thing and the thing you gotta watch for is when they meet each other. And then you got like a whole group sitting on the corner. You just don't go to that corner. You just stay away from it, Again, things we never had to consider or think about, prior to COVID. Now we do. Boo-hoo. Everybody's going through it, I know. But, other things like spiritual warfare, what's happening in the spiritual realm that you can't see has a direct connection to what's happening here. Everything. It's all connected. Your actions are connected. If you give something attention here, you're giving your energy to it in the realm you can't see. I use an example like when you hand money to someone, I started talking about this at first with my friend Craig, when we were first experiencing the demonic stuff in 2017. He was getting pulled all around by them. They would just control him like a puppet. It was really weird. And we walked by a guy who was a vessel for them. And I'd never seen the guy before. He was at the bus stop. He was continuing a conversation that we had with another one the night prior. And we hadn't put it together at this point. But he stopped and he was like, I'm going to give this man $1. And he stopped and he gave, maybe it was more than $1. He gave some money. Maybe he gave him a $5. I don't remember. And then walking later, he's like, why'd I do that? I'm like, I don't know. You probably just wanted to get him to fuck off because he's trying to talk to us. And sometimes if you give homeless people money, they go away. And he was like, yeah, but he didn't know why. He said he felt like he was being controlled, and he was. And when I saw him do that, something appeared in my mind's eye. It wasn't like I had a vision or anything. What I did is when I saw him hand him money, I didn't exactly see it. Maybe more like I felt it. There was like a blob of energy, like some of his energy went over to the guy. Like he was giving his energy to him on a different plane of existence. I don't know how to describe some of this stuff, I just have to try to do the best I can with explaining some of the experiences I've had over the years. Yeah, it's just like with demons. It's like when they're around, it's like a smell almost. Well, there is a literal smell. I described it before as oh hey, thanks, Alistair. I described it before as like static that you get from like a washer dryer mixed with rotten meat. It's like a staticky electric gross kind of smell, but you're not smelling it with your nose. It's you're sensing it with a sense that maybe we don't use anymore. That's a whole nother subject. Senses that we no longer use. Not to take too many roads in different directions, but for a while, haven't experienced it lately, but there was a time when I was experiencing this thing where I kept wanting to do something. Like when my body did. Like, when you're about to sneeze, and your body, it gets kind of tenses up in areas, and some of your muscles control. It's coming, right? Same thing with if you have to vomit or something. A process is beginning. I kept having something like that happen to me. like something was about to happen, but I didn't know what, you know. It would stop. It's like I'd start doing it, like something was going to happen, like I don't know, a fucking arm was going to come out of my back or something, but I was about to do something and it'd stop. I'd stop, almost like it was being blocked. So there's senses and things we don't use that we can't use because we have like a governor on them. And what I mean by governor is like if you've ever driven box trucks or you ever driven for a company or something, they'll put a governor on the gas, on the speed fucking pedal. Speed pedal. They'll put a governor so that you can't go beyond a certain speed. I used to have them on the trucks when I drove for Diamond briefly. I never really drove unless they were short, but that was a pain in the ass when you're in Boston traffic and you're trying to pass, but you can't go past 65. But our bodies have that. You know, we used to be able to do a lot of other things that we can't do now because there was some kind of governor, some kind of blocks put on the abilities we have. I think we used to be able to do a lot more stuff. And this was happening a couple of years ago. This was going on. I kept feeling like, all right, I'm going to not sneeze. I'm not going to puke. I'm about to do something, but I don't know what. Again, it's hard to describe some of this stuff, and that's the best I can do with that. How the fuck do we get all the way over here, though? How to get to Schizo Garage? Practice, practice, practice. All right. I'm going to go up and do some stuff up in the Bat Cave, H&L. The H&L stands for Honolulu. I've had people ask me, like, what's the H&L? It's an abbreviation for Honolulu. And I'm going to put that thing in the comments for real. No joke. And I think I'm going to come out again later. If I do, I'll of course record. Basically, every time I leave the house, I just start recording. If I can use it, I use it. If I don't, I don't. But I'm able to use a lot more now as YouTube's kind of loosened up some of their fucking more draconian bullshit. But anyway, thanks for dropping in. It's always nice to be checked in on. And until next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.